We found out who Robbie's source is, just how long before the Halloween crew gets caught, who is the task force leak. We're discussing all this on Unbinged starting right now. Welcome to Unbinged, the podcast discussing all the shows that you love to binge. It is me, Jagger May. With me, as always, is Matt Kaufhammer and Samantha Holt. We have no Alfredo Brown for this show, but hopefully we bully him into watching because we have a fan-fucking-tastic episode. We've got all these big questions, but first, before we begin, Samantha, give us that spoiler warning.
This is your official spoiler warning. If you have not watched the latest episode of Task, stop this episode, go watch it, and then come back and join us because we're going to spoil the shit out of it.
We got to talk about the big thing here. We've already hinted at it last episode, but now they are really saying it loud for the people in the back. There is a task force leak. I think it is narrowed down here where I was pretty firm that it's not Aaliyah for various reasons, some of them very racial driven. And I feel like even more about that now after seeing the Dominicans, but it's got to be Lizzie or Grasso, in my opinion. Kathleen's still around. Sam, we'll start with you here. Particularly, you brought up like the name of this episode, like no one's stronger than forgiveness here. We get why they are hitting these houses at this point. And we know, and we will talk about that, where Robbie's going to get it. But it feels like, what would be the FBI's purpose besides money and leaking this? And who do you think is the leak?
I mean, first, I was so stoked by the end of the episode, the fact that we have a second leak, because everything leading up to now, we just were anticipating the single leak in terms of who was informing the Halloween crew on how to bust into these houses and who was continuing to text. We got that answer, but now we have this new leak of literally straight from the task force. There is a leak, and we know it's not Tom. His shock alone tells us that it's not him, so like he's completely eliminated. I feel last week you guys were saying it was maybe Lizzie, and I was kind of leaning away, but after watching her have a mini crash out this episode, I'm pretty convinced that it's her, just in terms of her inability to handle what's the basic needs of her job in terms of going into a house, her freezing multiple times. It felt like she's just stumbling over her words. It's her, and she's not hiding it well. I feel like it's going to come out sooner than later that it's her. Maybe even in the next episode, the fact that we know Tom's about to go into the house and have a meeting with all of them. I feel like it's going to be put on the table of like, all right, which one of you is it? Because Tom has no patience left for waiting around for who it might be. So to me, I think it's going to be Lizzie, and I feel like we'll find out pretty quickly.
Koff, where are you at on here? Because like I'm not as strong with Lizzie, but I do see where, and it's really, I have just one thing. Like how, like, do you think it's Kristen Cole, Sir Grassanova, DJ Grassanova?
DJ Grasanova pussy. Yes, I think it's him just because of one line when he is leaving Lizzie and he's like, "I gotta go meet somebody," and it's very.
He first just said he's not getting pussy. Like where
exactly.
are you going,
so
dog?
It's not a lady. Exactly. So it's not it's as far as I can tell, it's not a lady friend that he's going to go visit, but it may be somebody from inside the gang that he's giving an update to. So I think that was very intentional from the showrunners to maybe point us to DJ Grasanova, or maybe it's a red herring and we're supposed to think it's him, but it's actually going to be the least likely suspect, and that's Aaliyah somehow. But again, I don't think with how they're building her character up and that backstory, I don't think she's the leak. So I think you're right. It's between Lizzie and Kristen Cole, and because Kristen Cole is a fuck, I'm going to go ahead and he gets my vote as the leak.
Yeah, and it is like the one thing that you said, man. You had all that lead up. He's like, I'm not. You're hanging out with your female coworker at a bar after work. They bring up the point that he's not. Yeah, that he's not seeing anyone. What purpose are you leaving that bar? I'm a man, round his age. Like there's just no way he is leaving that bar for anything else unless it's incredibly important business that is still more important than whatever he's with right then. Ladies, if a man wants to, he will. I've learned what that means now on there. And like, it's just that like, It's fucking impossible. Like that, it's just hard for me to move past it. Now, to flip it on the other side, why I still got to give Lizzie her credit. It's like you said, Sam, you're a cop. And it wasn't like someone had a gun or a hostage situation. You just needed to like pop her in the leg, even firing the gun. Like
Yes.
they're little crackheads. They would skitter like cockroaches. You don't even need to shoot at them.
Just
the,
make them dance, shoot at the floor. Come on.
yeah. Even shout, do a little, like scare them.
Yes. Any form of intimidation, they'll absolutely freak out.
You saw how shaky she was just trying to clear the house before they popped out at her, and then she froze completely. So I wonder if it's just showing like she shouldn't be a cop at all. Like she's got the personal skills and the detective skills, but she can't be in a situation that involves any sort of like
she needs to be behind a desk.
Fear. Mm-hmm.
Literally what you said, but when the scene happened, I was like, Lizzie's looking, she got a lot of nervous energy. I would not trust her in the house. Like immediately I'd be like, do you need to wait outside? Like I just could not trust this person.
Cover the exit.
And like, yeah. And that's again why like they're doing a good job where, and maybe they are the red herring. Let's just put it that there's still that 5% chance it could be Aaliyah, someone else, or, but like they were doing a really good job where it's 50-50 on being Grasso or Lizzie, because she did have the nervous energy coming in. But like, what if this is all an act? And what if they're leaning on her or something, and her doing this is out of character, where she's like, I need to let this person die because they want me to, but I'm not, like, basically what I'm saying, she could be the leak, but it's not like she's a leak because she's a piece of shit is what I'm saying. It could be for some various reasons.
Well, so we do know that her whoever her ex is or boyfriend is or whatever her situation was from episode 1 is a piece of shit. So that could also be a tie-in to this gang. And I think that's something that, just even something that she said on that phone call, about them sneaking around trying to like grab their stuff from the house.
Little raccoon. Yeah.
Yes. And then we go into this house and we see these two characters that are sneaking around the house trying to find
raccoon
shit. And
fucks.
I'm just like, little raccoon fucks trying to steal some shit. So she might be associating with some similar characters.
Mm-hmm.
We also have to remember the timing of when this scene came in the episode, and it's after Tom and Grasso went and confronted the gang at the tap room. So very easily, what you were saying, Jack, could be that if Lizzie is the leak, we got Perry and Jason being like, hey, you got to take out this Tom guy because he's in our shit now. So that's why, again, she goes into the house so goddamn nervous, because either she's going to have to shoot Tom herself in like attempting to shoot the other guy, or let the other guy get Tom. So I could absolutely see that being the reasoning she was so nervous, because she knows she has to do something so profoundly against her moral code.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
And I really, again, the character building in such a short span in the first episode really stuck with me about how all these characters are. I feel like they were really established, and it felt like starting with when they first interviewed the employees at wherever the
tree
lumber yard, tree trimmer service over there, that I felt she was out of character, because again, this is a woman, she's like, you're a little raccoon fuck. She just seems tough as shit, and she's like the only female cop. Like I just don't see a lot of that fear in there. And then like maybe if she rolls up and goes to this tree service and someone there recognizes her, because they all know each other. Like it doesn't take the Kevin Bacon amount of degrees to know somebody. It's basically like, I have someone who's fucked someone, or I know you're my cousin type shit. So like, what if stuff gets back to her, to whoever is leaning on her or something like that, and she's nervous? And that's why I just felt like there's got to be something on, because like there's no way this girl on the phone is the same character what I'm seeing now. But then here's my other argument too of why it could be her and why she's acting out of character or motivation. Going back to what you said, Sam, about this being all about no one's stronger than forgiveness, meaning that no one seems capable of it. What if her motivation is just like, fuck being a cop? Because we saw in that scene there that like Sam, you work at sports. You work at sports and marketing. It is rough being a woman.
Oh yeah.
Just in that, imagine being in bumfuck Delco County and the only fucking state trooper. And this is why I also think her being scared. State troopers don't do shit like this. They're pulling people over, whatnot. So there's just a lot there that like maybe she could just like fuck these people, like I tried and now I just want my money and maybe I'll get a big paycheck and like transfer or leave. So I don't know. It's hard for me. But again, Grasso leaving when a woman's there, I don't know.
It's all great points.
Suspicious.
There's a reason my work email is Sam at. Like, it just keeps it vague. And then I
Yeah.
get people figure it out later. Usually
Yeah.
much later. But anyways, it's fine.
Yeah. And I guess like we'll talk about it then. Like we already hit at my second point. It's like, can we trust Lizzie? I don't.
Good
To
old
clear a house,
stovetop.
no.
Yeah. Yeah.
To do basic things for her job, no. But like, it's as soon as she's not out in the field, she seems very capable. But it's soon, like you
Mhm.
completely pointed out, and I completely forgot too, just how connected this whole town is. It could completely be that she's stumbling over herself as soon as she walks into this room because she recognizes a couple people and is worried about, like you said, if someone's giving her pressure from the biker gang on another side, who's going to go report back on what she's doing? Because it feels like there's eyes everywhere. We've got multiple leaks, as we learned from this episode, but it also just feels like everybody's watching each other. So even from that one coworker that said, well, Cliff or Peaches was bragging about so-and-so and talked about Cliff. So it's like how quickly everyone else is able to put two and two together. And also the kind of little statement in the biker bar too of we have our own way of solving this. It feels like the entire town has ways they can solve this. It's not even just the biker game has means. It's everyone sitting back on their porches watching what's going on of like, oh, so-and-so's at it again. Like it just feels like everyone knows what's going on. Besides Tom, poor guy.
Yeah, like this is why I think everyone should watch The Wire, because even when that show came out, when things were less sophisticated, it's like the perfect example of showing that, and oftentimes gangs run in the same way that the police do, and oftentimes more sophisticated. Like a lot of people think that gangs are just these idiots talking about loyalty, but in a lot of cases it is very, very much militaristic and tight knit. So like you said, like every spot they got, I just think of Game of Thrones. So he's like, I got little spiders and birdies everywhere. Like that's just literally like I'm ready for Lord Varys to come out and like whisper shit in this little town, because that's what it feels like.
That's a great point, and I think that goes to the scene with Perry going up to Donna, I believe is her name, where he's like, "I know you're the mother hen." Like everybody chirps to you. So again, it's just getting that information network and tapping into it. And so with Lizzie being like a true Delco native, like how tapped into that is she? And is there a way, if she's not the leak? Let's say she is innocent of all this, and whoever the leak is, let's assume it is Grasso. Is there a way for him to kind of utilize her as like lead her along the wrong way, and that way he can keep pressure off of himself? Because I think that's going to be the next step, is once they've established who the leak is, are they going to try to throw the trail off and blame somebody else? Kind of what Donna did to the sergeant at arms at the end of the episode with Perry, where I don't think she's in on what's going on. Like I think she suspects that Aaron's a part of it because she knows the backstory, but I think she's trying to protect Aaron by creating this trail of disinformation. And I wonder if we'll see the same thing happen on the task force side with the leak.
Well, we're actually going to talk about this further, because I want to unpack everything specifically with Donna and Aaron and all that situation. But before we go any further, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button so we can always get content for you or to you. We are watching, of course, Task, Peacemaker, Gen V, Landman. We have It, Welcome to Derry as soon as Task is over. So if you still got that HBO subscription, you could stick with us for that. We have Fallout coming up. Lots of different shows. If there's something out there that you love, chances are we're covering it. And if we're not, comment that below and we'll try to get that on the list. And more importantly, if you want an Amazon gift card, yes, we are trying to help you out. As long as you help us out, make sure to comment below, either on YouTube or Spotify, your favorite theory on Task, and we are giving away $100 gift card on Amazon. And if you use Apple Podcasts, because you're one of those classy people who don't use Spotify or anything Google related, then you can go to Apple Podcasts, leave us a review, and you can leave your theory there, and we will give you $100 there as well. I think I'm done paying the bills, guys. So we'll go over to Aaron now. And Sam, I'll kick this back to you, because like Koff, you gave us a good setup there of like it feels like the women here, and we're going to talk a little bit about Cracky there at his wife. There's just this culture here, this very toxic male old school culture that in a little sense here, women have power. And it's the little ways that we see old school medieval where like, well, women use poison and this, whatever you want to think about. It's the power that they have. Could they have like their own little Handmaid's Tale rebellion here? What if you're getting beat up by these fuckers all the time who do a lot of incompetent shit here that they're just, and I'm not saying they're going to do a full blown mutiny, but if you fuck up along with these women, they'll let you fall some way, some way or another. And especially we see the motivation. And again, it all comes back to the title episode of Forgiveness here, where Aaron is with the head honcho here. What's his name one more time, Cough? Jason. And you have to be with the head honcho. You can't just say, well, I'm done with this relationship. That doesn't really work in these places. So maybe she started a relationship with the other guy because that's what she has to. It's like not really cheating if you're being abused. So we got the motivational factor here. We already see that Donna doesn't like Perry. Perry's probably just the same as the other ones here. How deep does this leak go inside of this bar, Sam? And do you think that these women are motivated?
Oh, I think they're very motivated. And I love the way that you've pitched me this question, because I was thinking about this last night after the episode, trying to unpack it, trying to think who the leak was on either side. And then as soon as my brain got to this Aaron arc and then into the connection with Donna, it reminds me of, this is very, very specific, of a very specific line from My Big Fat Greek Wedding. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this movie, but the mom in this tells her daughter, says, men think that they're the head of the house, but women are the neck, and the neck can turn the head any way they want. And I feel like this is a chess versus checkers situation where the men are playing checkers and the women are playing chess, and they know what to say because they've been with these horrible men for so long that will piss them off, that they need to go and solve the problem for themselves, but not for anyone else. So I do think that Erin is going to complete her revenge because she likely has enlisted Donna for help, but also, even if she hasn't, Donna, to your point, is disgusted by Perry and disgusted by a lot of these men. So if she were to see this going on, she's not going to let them know, hey, the trains are going to collide at 6:00. She's going to say, okay, I'm going to go get a drink.
You should be on that train. Yeah.
Yeah, you should get on that train.
Better not miss it.
Better not miss it. Better stamp that ticket and make sure you're not missing that ride. So I do feel like they're going to undermine this from the inside in a way that's going to cause, concern for the men in each other. Like, they're going to pit the men against each other until it's like an eye for an eye is going to leave the whole world blind. That's what's going to happen with the men here. And the women are just going to be standing back, protecting the children. And they're going to let them all cause their own demise. I do think that it's going to end up working out, because I think there's a hidden strength in this show in the women that is going to end up coming back to the end, because we're starting off with these very male focused main characters that are showing so many signs of weakness. And I feel like the women are going to be the strong ones at the end.
I love that you bring that up, Sam, because I think we see that perfectly in action. So even if Donna is not part of Erin's plan and she just suspects, right? I think you're right on the fact that they are slowly weeding out like the top guys to weaken the overall organization. And so Donna, when she is talking about Shane, the sergeant at arms, and she's like, yeah, I forget the wife's name. She's like, she and the kids had to come stay over because he is starting to get triggered like he was when he came back from the war. And like, so she is eroding that trust in Jason's second in command. And so if they end up taking out his second in command, that weakens the overall leadership structure. Then you leave Jason exposed to more scrutiny. And if things keep going wrong, Jason eventually will get taken out. And so you'll have, if you take the head of the organization, the rest kind of crumbles and creates a power vacuum and can collapse in on itself. So I wonder if that is the ultimate plan, is to see this organization just eat itself from the inside. And that way, like you said, the women are left safe because there's no one left to abuse them.
They're catching them in a trap. Like if a fox gets caught in a trap, it'll chew off its leg to get out of the trap. And I think that's what's going to end up happening to most of these men is they're going to find themselves trapped and hurting themselves in a way that takes them out of the situation. And interesting that Perry calls Donna like the house hen in terms of who everyone goes and relies on. Could also see this coming back to where Donna ends up seeing some level of power by the end of the show because the men have weakened themselves so much that they don't trust each other and they're looking to someone that they can trust, and they've always been able to trust her.
And now, and I know because it's like a myth in like Sons of Anarchy, that like Kate Seagal's character would never have that amount of power. This, like, women have to move like this, and it reminds me, Coffee, you're gonna get this. Bene Gesserit, dude. Like that's what they reminded me of from Dune, where like there's this secret, scary women organization, like living in the shadows. Like they're not running shit, but
they're
like,
the puppet masters.
But like I really see this, like they got these angry kings. They're just like, you disrespected me. No, you disrespected me. And it's just men being men, and they're just like, fuck, we got to kill these people. Like it's because it's like, obviously you don't want to disrespect women. Like, well, women are the gentler race, so they don't want to be around crime. Crime has to happen in a lot of these places for them to get out from underneath their poverty line. Like, it's hard for people to understand that, like there's like 4 jobs we've seen there. You can work at a store. We've seen a tree removal. There's a lot of trees there, so that seems to be a big economy. Or you're gonna work for the trash. There's like 4 fucking jobs. Like you're probably selling fentanyl somehow. It's a big economy, So like they're not trying to stop the crime. They want to stop the fuckery. Like, can you guys just sell drugs like normal organized people and stop killing each other for stupid shit and hitting women? That's the bar. Like Sam, we talked about a pre-show. The bar for men is low. It's like, sell your drugs. Yeah. The bar is for sell your drugs, stop hitting women and killing each other for stupid shit. Yeah. And they can't
do your job well and stop trying to hurt people. Like, it's hard.
Don't hit me. Like, can you do that? They just can't fucking do it.
Brian out loud.
We'll shift it for the problems in the back again, because there's a lot there. We got to talk about our boy Tom, man. We finally saw Tom have a little bit of a crash out. And I mean that literally and figuratively. Like, I feel like Tom has been, he's been keeping it together. Has he been getting turned at night? Yeah, but he's been a happy drunk, just listening to his tunes. God's not real, but my vodka is, just like jamming and having a good time.
Who needs communion wine when you got Tito's?
Exactly. He gets tackled down the steps, gets like a grade 2 concussion because going back to Lizzie, he's like, Lizzie, can you do anything? And she can't. And then he goes home. Yeah, he goes home to his kids, where one daughter is just causing problems. The other daughter rightfully is a part of the problem. And I don't mean to call her a problem, but she's like the biological sister. You got to go home to that. Homie's just screaming like he has a concussion. Ibuprofen's fine, no alcohol. Glug, 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 glug over there in the corner.
You could hear the pouring in the other room as she was saying no alcohol.
Yeah. Motherfucking it. Like literally just like fuck, back and forth. Finally admits, she's like, I don't want my kid here. And that was a tough thing to say. Valid. And I think him reaching that point makes more sense than where his daughter, and I'm getting him confused. Her name's Sarah.
Emily.
Cough, you're good with the name. Emily.
Sarah's the biological. Emily is the adopted.
Okay, well, I am talking about Sarah, where he tells her and all, like, how Sarah's just like, I hate my brother and he's a murderer and shit like that. I feel like him being at that point is more valid, at least because I've seen it. So, Cough, we'll start off with you here, man. How do you think Tom is going to hold up at this point? Because it's just, I feel like things have gotten rougher faster than what I even anticipated in this show for both sides.
Same, yeah. I did not expect him to reach this level until later in the season. What that means to me, though, is that he and Emily are going to have a fallout, and then by the end of the season, they're going to be able to reconcile. So I think it's very purposeful that this crash out is happening this soon in the season. I don't know if Sarah is a redeemable cause because she seems just so angry at her adopted
Mhm.
brother for killing her mom that I don't know if forgiveness is in her arc this season. If there is a second season or more story later on, maybe. But I think this is more so about Tom having to come to grips with the fact that, we welcomed these children into our home. We gave them the best life that we could, and it still went against all the good that we did. Um, so obviously him having a crisis of conscience, having a crisis of faith, like all this coming down to me just signifies that we're going to see an upward redemption arc later in the season. And I think it's going to be vital that he and Emily reconcile before he reconciles with his son, because there is no forgiveness with his son if he can't reconcile with Emily. Um, so I think that's where they're going with this. Hopefully that's where
Mhm.
they're going, because any farther down is just depressing to think about.
Yeah,
So
because and I guess like Sam, for you, like I hate to use the word competence level because it makes it sound like Tom's incompetent. He's not incompetent. His hands are just full.
mhm.
And like as someone who's had like personal issues, dealt with like, divorce, whatever you want to call it, like it's just hard dealing with anything when your house isn't in order. And I mean
Mhm.
that quite literally,
Yeah.
like your own stability is just fucked up. Like, can Tom bring it home? What is bringing it home at this point?
Yeah. Well, I actually think that the mini crash out and quite literal crash out, I think it's the dam breaking. And I think that when you're going through trauma and you're going through all of these horrible things, or because he's going through so much, the first thing that you need to do is admit that you're struggling, admit that it's
Yeah.
hard. And I think that this was him breaking, and saying out loud, "I'm mad." This is probably the first time he's actually said it out loud that he is angry. And once you get those feelings out and you admit to yourself what you're feeling, you can start to work through it. So I do feel like this is the beginning of what you kind of painted there, Koff, in terms of, an upward trajectory for Tom, because he's able to admit, to say out loud, "I am angry that this happened. I am upset with him. I don't want to see him." Because when someone slights you, you need some time away and you need that space. So he's been giving himself that, but not admitting why he wanted space from his son, not admitting what it is, just putting it on the back burner and not dealing with it, just going home and drinking and listening to his tunes, watching baseball and just completely ignoring it. But you can't put aside these feelings for that long because it's just going to rupture. And that's what happened here. He finally broke and was able to admit and say out loud to his daughter, "I am mad. I don't want to see him." And it's unfortunate that Emily overheard that. But I also feel like she's been watching her dad bury himself for a very
Hmm.
long time, and she probably already knew this was how he felt, but getting to hear it is definitely going to be interesting next episode to see how she responds to that, because he did still offer her the opportunity to speak her mind at in court. And we did hear Sarah say, "Okay, well, you need to talk to Emily," like he's going to go and get in her way. I don't think he's going to do that. I think he's still going to let her have her own autonomy on how to handle this in court for herself, and say, like, it's still her decision. I can be mad, but it's up to her and how she wants to handle it. So I do feel like the upward trajectory is coming for this, but we needed to have him break, unfortunately, take a tumble and hit his head to realize just how horrible this all was, and to just sit in his feelings and accept them. I feel like this is the first stage of acceptance of these feelings so he can move forward.
I love the way you
You-
put that because, like, again, as like a 33-year-old man, I genuinely don't feel like I had like true emotional intelligence till every bit of 32 to 33 years, like to be honest. And him having to reach that moment of saying, like, even the bad stuff, it's not like it's a permanent feeling that he's having,
No.
like, I'm gonna hate my son forever, but you have to say it right then that you're upset, you don't want him in the house, to even get to the point of working back to where you're like, I love him, I'm just mad, and this happened. And I really worry about Emily because, again, to bring it back, she is young, she doesn't
Yeah.
understand things, and it's like, not to, and this is like TV. So like you always, with anyone, you relate and put your own stories to what you're seeing to try to understand it. Like the things that I go to, I understand my dad and how he handled divorce. I even had like a slight, even like minuscule for what my dad went through, and it takes going through it to understand it. And I don't think Emily can even put herself in her dad's situation because she is so close to her brother that like how is she going to respond? Because
Yeah.
I feel like she's just getting pushed further and further away. Like she's been dealing with her dad at this point, and then she had to hear that way
Mm-hmm.
because like she needed to hear this, but she didn't need to hear it as like I rolled up and I feel like they're just talking shit and like we're the adopted kids. Like that didn't need to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I worry like this seems like a problem that's going to come out at the worst possible time. It's just like, hey, we've got, you know, the suspect had found the kid, Tom. Let's circle him right now. And then he get a phone call. It's like your daughter's missing and blah blah blah. He's just
Yeah.
like, what the fuck? You know, like that's just what's going to happen. All right, we'll finish it
I
off
think it
with
was,
this. Go ahead,
one
Koff, sorry.
last point. Sorry. I think it was pretty poetically ironic that he has this breakthrough after getting thrown down the stairs, which is what killed his wife.
Literally.
So I think,
Yeah, that's actually a
so
good point.
I think, so I think it was almost necessary for him to experiencing that fall to get to this point of like, okay, we're finally going to get some healing because he is now past the point of like, he's been, like you said, Sam, he's been bearing this for so long that it literally took a fall down some stairs to make him realize like he needs to get it out. So I think that was pretty poetic how they did that.
Yep. Like he had to literally live that experience to even get to the point where he could, like, it's almost like what is it, like exposure therapy?
Yeah.
Exposure therapy. Like you have to have really force yourself to face that trauma. Cause you got to think that's the only time he's probably sober, like the most sober.
Yeah.
Right at that moment. If you know, like he is far removed from the morning, hasn't had any alcohol, he's going in there, and then you have to face that head on right then completely sober. That is like the most exposure traumatic therapy that a person can get. And that's, I agree, that's the only way you can do it.
Yeah.
And like face that.
And also just like they did have the camera fade to blurry to seeing someone at the top of the stairs to your point of, you know, having to have that exposure therapy, having to experience the fear too, and being dazed and not knowing if you are okay, to have that little level of experiencing what his wife experienced and just this state of fear also probably is what helped him break to the moment of like, well, maybe he didn't see what happened with his son and his wife. Maybe he didn't see it, or maybe he wasn't there, he heard about it later. We don't know if he was like present for the actual act. He just experienced this himself. So is it random? Is it an accident? That's all a question, I think, still for him with what happened with his son. So having experienced this with, you know, being assaulted in the house where you've got, you know, an assailant shoving you down the stairs, having that physical force also has to be something that just really shook him to the core of like, if this is any level of what she experienced, I'm going to break in my anger right now. And I'm going to sit in that anger because that was not okay. I was scared. Can't imagine how she felt even in that moment where she was going down the stairs, all of that. Again, such a good point to bring up exposure therapy, but because it really feels like that's what this was.
Mm-hmm. And I guess we'll finish off of like, I'm really impressed at the pace of this show. Cause like a lot of the things that we watch, we always bitch about pace.
Mm-hmm.
And I really, and let's put it this way, it's exceeding my expectations. This isn't a complaint at all because I expected what we were going to get now. I'm like, it's going to be a slow building pressure cooker. I think I was wrong in saying it's a slow building pressure cooker. I'm like, fuck, we're episode 3. Like they already, it's like we already know what's happening here. Everyone basically knows what players they are. There seems to be just like more problems that I just like that dam is going to break at any moment to where like on the flip side, Koff, you're watching Peacemaker. We're like, I hope these 3 episodes, I hope it holds up. When this one, I'm like, what the fuck are they going to give me in 4 episodes? Like, there's just so much that, like, I just don't even know if I can fucking process it.
What's great about that, though, is even though we get this breakneck speed and pace, we also get these small moments, like with Maeve and Sam, her teaching him how to swim. So we get to have a few moments of respite where it's like, okay, maybe not everything is falling completely apart all the time, and we can have these little moments where we learn more about the characters like Maeve and Sam, and we get to really appreciate those slower moments in the show. And to me, that was one of the best scenes in the episode by far, just because her talking about you know, the great thing about growing up is we get to decide what we take from our parents and what we leave behind. And I think that's going to be a central theme for all the characters in this show, not just Maeve, not just Robbie, but also like Tom and Emily. Like, what is Emily going to take from this experience of like, Tom is not handling this loss well. How can she learn to do this better? And we see that reflected in her sister Sarah, where Sarah kind of has the same alcohol dependency kind of.
Yeah, but
Mhm.
that's a big ass glass, dude. That's a full 12
Yeah.
ounces. It's like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's a full bottle in that glass. Um, so I think that was a really poignant moment, especially with how fast the rest of the episode was, pacing wise. So I really appreciate what the showrunners are doing with giving us these contrasting scenes and letting us breathe for a little bit before then hitting the gas pedal again. So you're right. I am blown away by this show and how they are putting it together.
Well, they're also keeping to, and I think as soon as the kidnapping happens, we are set on a timeline. This episode, Tom
Mhm.
mentions this kid has been missing for
72.
72 hours. And we've had so much happen in that 72 hours. This is a real time investigation where real life happens. And if anything, the moments that we got, like with Maeve and Sam, and the different moments where, Robbie goes and meets with Aaron and Cliff, and then we're having these very specific, what feel like longer moments, it really just feels a lot like pacing of life in general. At the end of the day, you can remember specific moments longer because of the impact that they had on you, and the rest of the day can feel like a blur. It does feel like that kind of level pacing in terms of importance on specific moments for people, because everything else goes by the wayside outside of these specific moments that are pivotal and important to people on different levels. And we're learning what's important to each of these characters in the moments that we're given with them.
Yeah, that's perfect segue to what I was going to bring up because Koff, thank you for bringing up Maeve again. Because let's just talk about the beginning of that episode with her interaction with Robbie as well.
Oh yeah.
Like we've been saying this since like episode 1. Now Robbie knows it. Robbie knows he's going to die. He's basically said that. He's like, I know I have fucked up. At least let me take care of my kids. He's literally at this point. He's like, let me get as much money as possible right now. And then there you go. Whatever happens to me happens to me. And that almost makes him even more dangerous because he's not trying to survive as much anymore as he's just trying to, in his version, win, which is like, again, it's making sure that his kids are well off and taken care of. And like, hopefully Maeve can take him anywhere else, go to fucking Pittsburgh, anywhere else than that little bitty, actually further than Pittsburgh. Cause we learned the Dominican gangs are the ones running shit out of there. Leave Pennsylvania. Like, I forget, I'm from big states. I forget Pennsylvania is like what, like a fucking highway basically at this point with
Yeah,
like
you can drive through it
Philadelphia on
quicker.
one side and Pittsburgh on the other. I don't know. I'm not good at geography, folks. It just, I know that Pennsylvania's not that big. So just take him and leave. And to me, it's just we are watching the train wreck happen. There is no neat, tied up bow conclusion out of this. It's like, I'm hoping that Tom makes it out without his Emily hating him. His kid gets a lenient sentencing, and at least 2 out of the 3 task members got out alive. I do have zero hope for Cliff and Robbie. Like, honestly, I think Cliff is he's gonna lose it, dog. Like,
Oh, he
he's
nearly
gonna
lost it
fucking
this
lose it.
episode. He's so close.
Yeah.
Oh my god, no.
Yeah.
And
The
in terms of who's going to
best
survive
ending
is
for-
a bigger question.
Yeah,
Yeah, best ending for Cliff right now is prison. Like, that's his best ending.
it
Yeah.
is, man, and he's gonna get killed in prison. Let's just be honest, man.
Yeah.
Like they're gonna kill
For
him
sure.
in prison. Let's just, like, his best option is going to the FBI and then being an informant and then going to prison somewhere else, like
Yeah.
Florida or something, where
Or
that
witness
particular
protection.
gang can't touch him. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the
Yeah.
only thing that he's gonna get out of here alive. It's just done. Well, folks, I think that'll do it for us. Again, like, it almost feels like we have so much to talk about and we have so little to talk about at the same time, because things happen fast and they're almost like we can't even speculate sometimes because there's so much to talk about, because we even get to fucking Crackhead and his wife there. That was a whole little subplot.
Well, we saw
where
that
it
coming
just-
a mile away.
I actually didn't.
Yeah.
Where, like, I was just like,
Well,
wow,
as
what a
soon
very
as he said, Bro, as soon as you said we have 12 kilos to move, you saw the dude's eyes kind of light up. And it's like, yeah, he's going to try to rob you. Like, that was
Well,
immediately
100%.
I
foreshadowed.
guess
He doesn't
I-
look like an angel that's just sitting there like, oh, I'll help you move these drugs. Like, of course it was going to be him, and he's going to force his wife to do it too. Like, there, no, 100%.
I didn't.
I saw.
I
that
thought he
coming.
would try to weasel his way into a deal.
No, he's
I
going to
didn't
weasel his
think-
way and raccoon fuck into the
Why?
house.
Yeah,
Yeah.
This
Why
just
make a
proves
deal
I'm not a
when you have the full
crackhead,
12
guys.
kilos?
Yeah.
I don't think like that. I was like, man, homie just got out of jail. He's already going to get in trouble if he loses that job with his parole office. Like, there were so many layers. Like, I think I was hung up on him. Like, buddy, you got to get to work. Like that. It's like, the whole
Almost got a
time I'm not
criminal,
even.
man.
Though, to be honest, I did almost think that instead of him robbing them, I thought the deal might go down. And then that was a way for Cliff and Robbie to kind of drop everything on Ray's head and make him kind of like a fall guy. Because they knew that Freddie was, of course, yeah, that's the other thing. But they knew that Freddie was looking for somebody ready to move that kind of weight. And so if they had presented Ray as like the front guy and let him be the fall guy, maybe they could have covered their own tracks. But again, they're not that smart. So I should have known
No,
better.
well, and Ray wasn't that smart in terms of, I don't even believe he had a true connection to sell the product to begin with. I feel like he's probably just come out of jail. No one wants to deal with him because he's got, to stick with parole. So they all know better than to give him too much right off the bat because they're going to be looking for him. So I don't even think he had a connection to begin with. So it's interesting that we're set up in a sense of the text messages had been sent out. They're supposed to show up for this meeting at 11 o'clock the next night. But we know that Robbie and Cliff are going to go and scope it out before they go and try and do a drop. There's so many things that are linchpinning into this next episode in terms of what we're going to get. It's just, it's really interesting. I can't wait. It's going to be explosive. I feel like quite literally it's going to be a lot. And I feel like everyone's going to show up. It can be like the FBI and the SWAT, and then the biker gang's going to show up, and everyone, and it's just going to be a melee, and who's going to get caught in the crossfire.
Yeah, it's like you said. We're just at this point. We're speculating who's gonna live.
Yeah.
That's at this point is like who lives, and really I'm just rooting for Maeve and all the kids to be safe the
Same.
most. That is the big thing here. Can Maeve, can Sam, can Wyatt, like every one of those kids, can they go somewhere else? And I've been in foster care. So like hopefully they don't have to go that route. That's where I'm at. So it's just like, stay with Maeve. Maeve's old enough. And what sucks, I don't even want Maeve to have fucking 4 kids. She's a child still.
19.
Yeah, but like,
Or
yeah,
21.
I was like, I don't want that for her either. But like, she is like the nuclear family type here. So it's just a lot. Tell us what we think in the comments, guys. As always, like and subscribe. And if you want on those gift cards, just give us your theories. That's all we ask. If you want to give us 5 stars on Apple, we'll take that as well. As always, I'm Jagger May. That's Matt Kaufhammer. That's Sam Holt. Love you guys, and we'll see you on the next one.